Time frame, images of a generation. We grew up in a simpler time. We sang.
Say, kids, what time is it? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
We laughed.
Hello, boy.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
We cried.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot.
We fought. We loved. We were attacked.
Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air.
Our flag was still there. Now these memories come to life on posters that can be yours today. Go to howdyboomy.com for your copies today. That's howdyboomy.com. howdyboomy.com.
Welcome to the Howdy Booty Show. Today is Wednesday, April 12th. It's National Hamster Day. I remember getting a hamster for my daughter because she went potty in the toilet. Brought it home. It got out of its box, burrowed its way into one of our armchairs. Had to cut the back out, had to repair it, which cost me $80. I was out $80, and we didn't have the thing in the house for more than 25 minutes. Didn't realize it was a nocturnal animal. Stayed up all night, so we had to put it in a separate room because it went on its treadmill. Drove everybody nuts for 11 years. One of the best purchases I ever made. I don't know what life was like in the Wild West. You see James Arness as Matt Dillon, the opening of Gunsmoke, a duel between two guys, High Noon, Gary Cooper. Now you wake up every morning and you're witnessing some type of shooting somewhere. I don't know if they're more frequent now. I don't know if because of the communications ability we have that they are reported more. But every time it happens, we are told that we have to have some extended type of gun control more than what we have right now. Now, I never owned a gun, never intend to own a gun. I shot a gun once in my life, and it never even entered my mind. And a lot of people do, and whether you do or you don't, God bless you, you have your choice. But I try to figure out how many gun laws there are in the United States. I'm in New York State, which has more laws that are irrelevant than any probably state in the Union. And I tried to look up the fact that how many gun control laws are there in the United States. I really couldn't find the answer. I was referred to a quote by Ronald Reagan when he was president of the United States that he said we didn't need any more gun control laws because federal, state, and local gun laws on the books total about 20,000. That I don't know, that I can't verify. That seems like an awful lot. But judging from what people have said, judging from the articles that I have read, there's quite a few. Probably in the neighborhood of 5,000 to 7,000 gun laws across the United States at the federal, state, and local level. Just on the local level in the state of California, there's 126. In New York State, I have no idea, but just think about this. Just think if there were 20. Try to come up with 20 laws regarding gun control. It would seem to me that if you have over 100 laws on the books, there already is a law that is applicable to any shooting situation that happens nowadays. I don't know if it's all for show. I don't know what it is. I talked to a colleague of mine over a couple of beers, and he said, well, we got to take this AK-17. It kills too many people. I could take any gun, any knife, any hammer, and put it on a table and ask anybody to tell me how many people that gun or that hammer or that knife has killed. And some will come up with a figure, but the overwhelming majority, if they are smart, will say none. Because it's the person that kills them. Now you look at the profile, you look at the guy that was just killing these bank people in Louisville, Kentucky. He walked in with a rifle, that probably the AK-17, I guess. And he walked into a meeting room and just shot him at the table. Now, would A handgun have reduced the deaths? I doubt it. But he bought the gun legally a couple weeks before that, and now his parents come out and say he had some mental problems. Remember, I always said that everything starts at the kitchen table. And if the parents knew that he had mental problems, did they know that he bought a gun? I would put two and two together, and I would start alerting some people, if he was my son, with mental problems. I mean, originally I probably would have tried to get some help before this. But when I say everything starts at the kitchen table, that's a great indicator that a mental problem could lead to tragedy. Put a gun in his hand, and it almost certainly will lead to tragedy. But you took a look at the guy, and he looked like a normal guy. He looked like somebody you wouldn't mind if he came over and dated your daughter or something. You take a look at this kid in, Idaho, that stabbed those 4 kids in the house? He looked sort of normal until you found out his background, what his parents thought about him, what was going on there. So appearances belittle and hide what the mental problems can be. There is no gun control laws that are going to correctly and entirely enclose the mental problem of someone if he wants to buy a weapon. And I don't understand why they constantly try to go for gun control laws, more laws. The laws are on the books. Just enforce them. Maybe they should start that if you commit a crime and you possess a gun, you're going to go bye-bye for 5 years even before we consider what the crime is. In other words, your rear end's going to be in jail for 5 years before you start serving the sentence for the crime of which you were convicted. Maybe 10 years, I have no idea. Depends on the severity of the crime, but there's going to be a mandatory sentence before you even begin to address the crime that was committed. If there was a gun involved, you're going to be sitting in the hoosgow for 5 years before we even consider enabling the sentence that you're going to be convicted of. Enforce the laws that are on the books and punish the people that use guns in the wrong way. I don't know how to do it. I could probably go out and buy a gun now. I have to go into the inner city to do it because they seem to have all of them. Do you think they want to defund the police in Louisville, Kentucky today? Do you think they want to defund them in New York City? D.A. Bragg, who's going after Trump, rather than the criminals in his own city, has reduced 52% of the felonies in New York City to misdemeanors. Why is that? You should ask George Soros, the person who funded him to get in there, who fund all the DAs who want to reduce the penalties, reduce the felonies to misdemeanors. I think we should put these people in George Soros' neighborhood. If they get released, if they commit crimes, how many stories have you read now about people that were committing felonies, were released and go out and commit more felonies and even kill some people? That's what we're dealing with now. That's what we have to stop. That's what people like Donald Trump, DeSantis, law and order people want to stop. But the press isn't going to give them any due. I saw where PolitiFact finally admitted that DeSantis was right when he said that Bragg, the DA in New York City, reduced over half of the felonies in New York City to misdemeanors. But they did a caveat. They said, well, everybody's doing it. Does that make it justifiable? The press is putrid in this country. I wish that someone who is near and dear to one of the presidents or editors of these companies gets waylaid, and the person who waylays them is released and comes back and waylays them again. And we'll see what kind of attitude the press has about reducing felonies to misdemeanors. Donald Trump is still on the front page. I hope he perseveres this. I think he will. He's a tough cookie. And you're going to find out the ridiculous statements and the ridiculous charges that are up against him. Joe Biden's son, Hunter, the son of the year, he's in Ireland with the old man. try escaping the heat that's going to be coming. The DA in New York City has sued the House member Jim Jordan, who went after him to get information about what's going on there, how he's politicizing the Department of Justice. So it's an ongoing battle. And it's sort of amazing that this is happening in the United States. Joe Biden's going to come out with some emission standards that are going to be crippling to the auto industry, that are going to try to force people to purchase electronic vehicles. How are they going to do that? Somebody has to... China is polluting the atmosphere like crazy. They're going nuts in the United States. Why penalize the American economy? Why penalize the American consumer? Are we the only people in the world that can cure global warming or whatever malady that these idiots think is going on? I just can't understand why you condemn Americans. You're president of the United States of America. You're not president of China. You're not president of the world. Take care of the people you're president of. It is amazing to me how little common sense. But I guarantee you, somewhere in there, whether it be a mining company, a battery company, somewhere in there, Joe, Hunter, and the Biden family have financial positions from which they will benefit. Somewhere in there. That's the country we live in. Have a great day. Enjoy National Hamster Day. I hope you have great weather where you're at. God bless you. See you tomorrow. God bless America.